Hi everyone, it's Macy, and this is my review of Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald.
Things have changed for me, and that's okay. I feel the same. I'm on my way, and I say.
Basically, this video is just going to me sharing my thoughts, reviews, and theories about the movie. Do not worry, this first section will be for the people who haven't seen the movie yet, so this is the non-spoiler section. I will give a warning for when I do start talking about spoilers, so if you don't want to be spoiled, then I will tell you. Okay, so first we're just gonna get this out of the way. I did truly enjoy this movie. I know the opinions on this movie are either people loved it or they hated it, and I'm kind of more in the middle. I did truly enjoy this movie. When I left the theater, I was happy. I really enjoyed it. But now that I'm picking it apart and analyzing it, I am seeing flaws. I got a lot of other people's opinions on this, and a lot of people said that it was really hard to follow, which I do agree with. The movie itself was kind of hard to follow because of the way that it was formatted. Also, people who said that they didn't really understand what was happening some of the times were people that aren't really familiar with the Harry Potter universe. Basically, if you haven't read the books, then you're gonna have a lot harder time understanding what's happening in this movie compared to people who have read the books and are very familiar with this universe. You can tell that this movie is written by J.K. Rowling. You can really tell it's written by her because it's written like a Harry Potter book. So that also might be a reason why people find it really hard to follow. A really good example is that some of the flashbacks are very long, and so you kind of forget where you are in the movie and what's happening, and then the flashbacks end and then you're like, oh my god, I forgot that this was happening. This movie was so dark compared to the previous movies. The movies before this, even including Fantastic Beasts and the original Harry Potter movies, they've all been sort of happy. They've all had this underlying happy undertone, and obviously they have darker themes, but those darker themes always get fleshed out with a happy ending or just bubbly music or just a warmer tone. It was like someone took a gray tone and just kind of put it over the entire movie. Not only are the themes dark, but also the movie itself, watching it, it's just a very dark movie overall. The only parts that were really had comic relief in them were either from Jacob or the baby Nifflers. The editing was also all over the place. It was really confusing at some points. Jude Law played an amazing Dumbledore. He was probably my favorite character next to Newt. He was really the Dumbledore that we know. Okay, so if you have not seen this movie, this is the spoiler section. I am fully heartedly warning you that if you've not seen this and you don't want to be spoiled, then leave. Go see the movie and then come back and you can see this part. Okay, bye non-spoiler people. Okay, we're just gonna get this out of the way because it's my longest theory and the most thought out one that I think is true. Okay, Credence is not a Dumbledore. I don't care what Grindelwald says, he's not a Dumbledore. Literally, Grindelwald is lying to Credence to get Credence to trust him because Queenie was oh, he's not sure if he made the right choice. So then Grindelwald sweeps in there and was hey, guess what? You're a Dumbledore. That's literally all he did in the first movie was try to manipulate Credence. My theory is that the little bird turned into a phoenix because Grindelwald touched it. Now that may sound crazy, so let me explain. At first we think that the baby bird is a symbol for the Lestrange family, and it's kind of a symbolism leading us to the reveal that Credence is a Lestrange because the Lestrange family crest it has a raven in it, so it's oh, it's a baby raven, so that means Credence must be a Lestrange. Credence is seen holding and nurturing that baby bird throughout the entire movie. The only time that it turned into a phoenix is when Grindelwald touches it. Now you may be thinking, Macy, you're crazy, how does this even work? Well, you know how Dumbledore and Grindelwald had that whole blood oath thing? My point is, they made the blood oath, right? Swearing that they'd never fight each other. So that means that Grindelwald has Dumbledore's blood in his body. He is technically considered a Dumbledore. This theory probably isn't true, but it makes the most sense to me, so I'm just gonna roll with it. I just refuse to believe that Credence is a Dumbledore because it makes zero sense. Because if it's true, then this whole movie is going against the entire official plot line, which a lot of other points are already going against this plot line, which I'm gonna talk about later, but this is a really big point that makes zero sense. Okay, I really didn't like the whole subplot with the whole Lestrange family. I thought it was confusing. Like, I don't understand how the Lestrange family is supposed to continue on now because, you know, Lita's dead, so I really didn't think that Lita was going to die. If anything, I thought Theseus was going to be the one that died. I will say though that I really did enjoy how when she was like gonna die, she looked at Newt and Theseus and was like, oh, I love you. And then the camera pans to them and it's like they're both in the shot, so like which Scamander is she saying it to? Or like it's just saying that she loved both of them, but I kind of think that she liked Newt a little more. So now we're going to talk about Albus Dumbledore and Grindelwald. I truly loved the quote when the ministry is there and the minister was like, you two were as close as brothers, and Dumbledore like corrects him and says, well, we were closer than brothers. It's just a subtle hint that like Dumbledore is gay. I really think that this movie handled Dumbledore's sexuality very nicely. Like in the earlier installments in this franchise, romance isn't very important. It's not the main like driving plot point. And this obviously Dumbledore's sexuality is going to play a very big role because of the whole Grindelwald and Dumbledore relationship. I think that the line that I mentioned before and the whole scene with the Mirror of Erised got the point across pretty well. So I can fully admit that when the WB logo started like, you know, fading onto the screen and the music started playing, I burst into tears. Also, when we saw Hogwarts for the first time, like, you know, going, like, when it goes over the hill and then, like, you see the castle, I started crying. I couldn't handle it. It was too much. It was just so overwhelming to finally see Hogwarts on screen. Because, like, for me, I got into Harry Potter a little too late, and all the movies had already come out, and I didn't get to see any of them on the big screen. So finally being able to see Hogwarts for the first time on the big screen, it was too much for me. I couldn't handle it. I noticed that this movie had a lot of Easter eggs and was really trying to grab at that like nostalgia factor from like the old movies, and a lot of them were really subtle and like really nice and like a nice little nod to like the older movies. But then some of them were not so subtle and I didn't really agree with some of them. Like one that I really enjoyed was when Nicholas Flamel opened up his cupboard and there was the Philosopher's Stone just sitting there. It was just a nice little nod. But one that makes me angry and I really don't understand was Professor McGonagall. It is impossible that she was in Lita's flashback. Because even in like the time that the movie is set in, not even the flashback, McGonagall isn't born yet. She was born on October 4th, 1934. So how is she in a flashback that is before the 1920s? Pottermore has officially said that that is her birthday, so how does this work? Like, this is just one of the incidences that this movie is literally going against its own canon, and it's written by J.K. Rowling, which makes no sense. Another way that this movie literally goes against its own canon is that Dumbledore is teaching defense against the dark arts, when it is mentioned in the books multiple times that he taught transfiguration. I'm just confused as to what J.K. Rowling's doing, but I truly am happy that we got to like go back to Hogwarts, and I really enjoyed seeing like the different Hogwarts robes from like different eras. Okay. So you know how like cleaning in the wizarding world is supposed to be like super easy, right? So like it's just like you flick your wand and then everything just sort of cleans itself. Like when we go into the burrow for the first time, everything's just kind of cleaning itself. Like Molly has it set up so like everything's kind of cleaning. It's just supposed to be really, really simple. Or like in the 6th movie when Dumbledore like just kind of waves his wand and then literally everything cleans itself in like Slughorn's like house that he's living in. So why on earth does that steampunk vacuum cleaner in the British Ministry have to exist? Like, it literally serves no purpose. Like, it just has like 8 brushes and it's like randomly cleaning. Like, what is the point of it? Like, what's going on? Like, if cleaning is so easy, then why do you need to have that weird stink pump vacuum cleaner? Like, literally, Anyway, now that my rant is over for the steampunk vacuum cleaner, I'm really happy that we got to go see the British Ministry of Magic. Like, I truly enjoyed all the beasts in this movie because like even though there weren't as many as the first one, they all had like a very specific role that they played and they're very memorable. But some of the characters weren't as memorable as the beasts, which I find really funny. Like there were a lot of throwaway characters. Like a lot of Grindelwald's followers, like the lady with the skull and then the one dude that I don't remember that was from the American Ministry. I don't remember. Also, like Newt's apprentice that I don't really remember her name because she was only in that first scene. I really wished that Nagini played a bigger role in this movie because I was really looking forward to her. but I feel like she's going to play a bigger role in the other movies. Something we have to keep in mind about this movie is that it's only a middle one. It's the second one. There's still going to be 3 more movies. I just feel like this movie is really setting up for the next one. It's kind of like a puzzle piece movie where it's like all of the things that really don't make a lot of sense right now are going to make sense probably in the future. At least that's what I hope. Okay, those are all of my thoughts, my theories, and my review on this movie. Please share your thoughts on this movie in the comments below. I want to hear you guys, like, what you guys have to say. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Do you agree with some of my theories? Leave a like if you like this video, and if you want to see more of my face in the future, then please feel free to subscribe down below. Thank you so much again for watching. Bye!